Welcome to Out with Dan, the podcast that spotlights and examines the voices of LGBTQ+ authors, characters, and our allies. Together, we lift our voices and we tell our stories. I'm Dan White. Join me as I chat with this week's author. Hello, and welcome back to a special Saints and Sinners edition of Out with Dan. Today, I'm joined by Jake Budenz. Welcome, Jake.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. So I know that you've been to New Orleans before. Did you do grad work there? Is that right?
Yes, I was in the MFA program at University of New Orleans, the CWW. So I was there for 2.5 years.
Lovely. Are there any places, bars, restaurants, haunts, cemeteries that you're looking forward to visiting again or seeing for the first time when you're there?
Yeah, so when I go to New Orleans, I always make sure to go to Crescent Park, most beautiful sunsets in the city. And I used to live in the Bywater, so I'm very partial to Houdat Coffee Cafe, which is a queer-owned cafe. You can get boozy coffee cocktails all day, great baked goods and brunchy type of stuff, huge mimosas. I'm also very partial to Bar Redux because they hosted my book launch party, but also because they're wonderful and really cool. So I always make sure to see those places in the Bywater area when I visit.
I love that. I love that. It's always, New Orleans has so many different flavors and neighborhoods. You know, it's like I was talking to somebody the other day that they love the Marigny. Mm-hmm. And it's just, you know, you can be uptown, Central Business District, the Quarter. I mean, there's so many places with so many different flavors and things to see. So have you been to Saints and Sinners before?
So when I was in grad school, I went to Tennessee Williams and Saints and Sinners once. I think I was also a reader for both of their contests, so I'm very partial. This will be my first time presenting, so I'm really excited.
Oh, lovely. It's such an inclusive environment. It really is it's a wonderful festival, you know, with, I think for both authors and readers, they're so inclusive and you really feel like you've come home almost.
Absolutely.
And do you have a current book or that you're working on? What are you working on now? And what will you be presenting while you're there?
Last year, my debut collection of short stories, Tea Leaves, came out. It's a bunch of queer magic realist short stories. So I will have that at the event, of course. And then I'm currently working with my band Moth Broth on a new album. We're hoping to release it later this year. We're working on a music video and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, I'm always working on new fiction and poetry, but nothing I can announce just yet.
Okay. That's wonderful. I know you're a multidisciplinary artist, that you do a bunch of different stuff. What is Moth Broth? What kind of music is that? What genre?
We call it psychedelic witch pop. We're all queer and we wear wacky outfits, and so it's very poppy, and a lot of the subject matter is sort of very whimsical or mythical, but also some of it is very serious. Some of it's about like climate change, but it's all about kind of hidden worlds, basically. So I sing, and we have a auto harpist and a synth player, and we try to really groove. I don't know when this interview will come out, but I actually have a show with them tonight.
Oh, lovely. It comes out on Sunday. So
okay.
We'll all be out on Sunday. So we'll hope that it went perfectly well. So
great. Well, then I just had a show on Friday night.
I love that. Yes, that's the way to pop it. That's the way to pop it. So tell me a little bit about Tea Leaves. Tell me a little bit more about Tea Leaves.
Yeah, so the sort of conceit is that I like to say it's the intersection of otherness and the otherworldly. So it examines kind of contemporary queer life. There are stories, a lot of the stories are focused on, there's a lot of gay men, lesbians, there's also a few genderqueer or non-binary narrators. And the idea is in each story, it sort of explores a corner of queer life, and there is some kind of supernatural or paranormal or fantastical element that becomes either some kind of a metaphor for what's happening to the characters or just sort of a catalyst for the challenges that they're facing. So, you know, it's not like perfect one-to-one metaphors for queer life or anything, but there are these kind of rich, I hope, sort of textures of the supernatural world. And it kind of examines the way that the queer experience in contemporary America can be in itself fantastical or strange or other, or just like kind of hidden from what the default experience is.
I think that's wonderful. I look forward to hearing you read it.
Thank you.
And do you have a website or social media you would like to share?
Yes, so I share a lot of my work on Instagram at Dream Baby Jake, all one word. Dream Baby is the name of my solo sort of cabaret act. And also jakebeearts.com, JakeBeearts.com. And, with Instagram and my website, there's like obviously booking info and links to my work and stuff like that.
And tell me what your website is. I know what it is, but tell the audience.
Oh yeah, it's just a collection of my work as a multidisciplinary artist. So I have like, all my publications on there. I have documentation from plays or performance art pieces or links to, my work and so forth. So jakebeearts.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jake, for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in New Orleans.
Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you too.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us for a very special Saints and Sinners edition of Out with Dan. The Saints and Sinners LGBTQ plus Literary Festival is a part of the Tennessee Williams Literary Festival, and it is held each year in New Orleans. This year's festival will be March 22nd through the 24th. We would love to have you join us. For more information on Saints and Sinners, please visit sasfest.org.